All right, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Substrate Saturday.
Hi.
My name is Serena. I'm community officer from OneBlock, and I'll be moderating today's session. Yep. Today we'll have a rather special episode of Substrate Saturday, as you can see in the title here, featuring Global Substrate Evangelist program kickoff. And today we have two very special guests. Dr. Dasari, Technical Education Lead from Web3 Foundation, and Helena Wang, Head of Asia from our long-term partner Parity. Welcome you two. You guys say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody. Looking forward to the session today.
Hi, Radha. And Helena, are you in? Okay, that's okay. All right, and for friends who are joining us today, thank you all for coming. And obviously, we're live on YouTube right now. If you have any questions or input or just say hi during the session, feel free to leave a comment below or in the chat box, and we'll try to have them answered in the end of the session. And you're very welcome to do that. Okay, to start, I want to take a minute to give a brief intro on the program and the parties involved here. So for friends who are joining us for the first time, Substrate Saturday is a program brought to you by both Parity and OneBlock. It is meant to help developers to better understand the basics of a Substrate framework and to get on board with the ecological building using Substrate as underlying language for product. For each episode, we invite speakers who are the leaders and experts in the field to give speeches on their takes of this Substrate tool. And for people who have questions on the subject, we'll have the opportunity to have their questions answered here. All right, and who we are. OneBlock is the first and the largest blockchain developer community in China. We provide full support for developers with their Substrate studies and further set off their career path. Our mission is to bring developers into the space and help them not only to grasp the basics of Substrate, but also to guide them on how to use Substrate as a building block to apply to the ecosystem with practical use. So we host polka dot hackathons every season to attract top-notch developers to build and innovate for a thriving ecosystem. As a Greater China Technology Resource Integrator, we also partner with the developers, communities, business elites, and the key media who have business insights and experiences in the blockchain industry to provide educational events, such as technical courses, webinars, AMAs, and offline events. Now, with that being said, if you're interested, please join us on Twitter and Discord to get firsthand info on Substrate development. Links are posted underneath this video, and you're very welcome to join us. And our long-term partner, Parity, is a core blockchain infrastructure company. They created an open source Creative Commons that will enable people to create a better institution through technology. They are the ones who invented Substrate tool, which allows users to create custom blockchain effortlessly. They are also commissioned by Web3 Foundation to develop the Polkadot network. And moving on, a little bit of background on the Substrate Evangelist program. I just want to make a note of that we just changed the name from Substrate Ambassador program into Substrate Evangelist program, right? And at the beginning of this year, OneBlock and Parity together launched the program with the aim of promoting Substrate technology using the DAO approach in order to facilitate a robust technological development of the Substrate ecosystem with innovation. The program provides the evangelist with a variety of incentives, growth opportunities, and an international communication environment. They are able to work directly with Substrate developers and projects to learn the most up-to-date technologies, receive support for their work, and last but not least, gifts from Polkadot. For those who are interested in long-term development in the ecosystem, we also support them by giving application guidance on Web3 Open Grant. Okay, since the program started, we received a total of 125 applications from more than 14 countries, and at the end, 51 of them have been selected for our first cohort of Substrate Evangelists. So I want to take this moment to congratulate all of our evangelists on board, and we look forward to the next 3 months of collaborations with you. The evangelists will be working in 4 groups with different functions. As you might already see, some of them have already started taking on responsibilities. I won't be going into details of this program because Helena will bring you a closer look at the program shortly after. All right, and as of the agenda for today, first we'll have Dr. Dasari give a presentation on developing on Substrate. In his presentation, he will be covering the basics of Substrate and Polkadot, the structure of frame and nodes. He will also be doing a walkthrough of a Substrate palette. And following, Helena will be giving a high-level overview of Substrate Ecosystem, which includes the status quo of the ecosystem, the current active projects, and how are they doing, what kind of projects are they, geographic distributions, and etc. And we'll also and she will also disclose the key factors which plays a critical support in results of a thriving ecosystem. And in the end, she will touch on some of the details of our Substrate Evangelist program. So stay tuned. Okay, after Helena's presentation, we'll do a Q&A session. As I mentioned before, we'll have some time to answer your questions. The question can be anything related to this program, Substrate, guest speeches, or the Evangelist program. We have organizers that are monitoring the chat live and will ping us with the questions. And you can start leaving messages in the chat box already. All right. Last but not least, the 3rd annual Polkadot Decode will be held in June, and I want to touch on that a little bit in the end of the session. Okay. That's all I have for introduction, and any questions about what I just said, feel free to leave a message. So now, Dr. Dasari, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen clearly?
Yes, perfect.
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 All right, so when I got to know that I'm giving this session for you, I just wanted to, I know all of you are interested in developing on Substrate. Some of you may have already got started with Substrate. My intention with putting together this session was to give you more resources so that, you get direct access to Substrate developer community. And so I have a couple of updates for you about Substrate education program as well. So let's get started. For those of you who are, joining this session, and then this is the first time you're getting to know about Substrate, understand that Substrate is a modular, flexible, and extensible framework, meaning so modularity is advertised across different ecosystems. Okay, so what that means is you need not build everything from scratch. Okay, so you can actually look at the modules in the framework, pick one and then, choose to use it or sort of improve it. Okay, so that the improving aspect comes into the flexibility. So there's a lot of flexibility to this framework as well. It's not like if you change some code in a specific module, it's going to have like a ripple effect in the others. So things are like very modular, flexible, and you can add new algorithms on top of like what is already implemented. And like if you want to just get started like that, so we already have the battle tested libraries. So for instance, Polkadot and Kusama have been running for years, and then everything simply like works out of the box. Okay, so what's the vision of Substrate? So this is a framework with a multi-chain future on mind. And why do we say like multi-chain? So if you look at like Polkadot, Polkadot's vision, it is to have like lots of parachains talking to each other and then delivering very application specific functionality with them. So in Polkadot ecosystem, we believe like multi-chain is the future and Substrate is the technology that powers it. Okay, so you as a developer, if you're entering like Substrate, development, you already have what is called frame. Okay, so frame is a set of modules. We call them like palettes. So you have these palettes developed by really good developers who sort of like polished a specific module to deliver a specific task. I'm going to show you a bunch of palettes later on, but know that you already have this support, so you're free to like use those palettes into the blockchain application that you're building. Okay, so Polkadot is built with Substrate around. So there's a statistic saying 70% of Polkadot's code is directly from like Substrate framework, and the rest of it is like Polkadot's individual functionalities. Anyways, it's a heterogeneous multi-chain that connects and secures blockchains with pooled security and interoperability. So you see this logo right here. So in here, all these tiny dots are what we call parachains. So these are individual blockchains that are talking to each other and then that are being like secured by Polkadot's validators. So these vertical, bars right there represent validators who are securing that particular parachain. So that's the interpretation of Polkadot's logo. And we believe, none of these parachains need to trust each other, but still be or like anything like trustlessly like execute like their functionality without amplifying the truth of overall overall like ecosystem. Okay, so talking about like Polkadot architecture. So if you're familiar with like the names here that I have, basically we have the relay chain, which we call like Polkadot. It sort of connects these parachains together, right? So this is a parachain, that's a parachain, and then every parachain has what we call collators. So these are the nodes that package the transactions together and send it to the relay chain for validation. Okay, so here are the validators of the relay chain that are randomly assigned to these parachains who sort of validate those blocks and then finalize them on the relay chain. Yep, so the parathreads implementation is still in progress. So you're going to see an announcement like sometime this year about the parathreads. So to become a parachain, you'll have to win like a parachain slot auction. But for parathread, you can actually plug into the relay chain as pay-as-you-go model. Like for every individual block that you want to finalize on the relay chain, you're gonna pay for that. But all in all, the ecosystem is growing. As you can see on Kusama, there are over 23 parachains now, and on Polkadot you have around 13. There are bridges to other blockchains in place as well. For instance, a Bitcoin bridge already like won a parachain slot auction. There are plans to bridge with Ethereum and other like ecosystems as well. Let me monitor the chat as well. Okay, that's no question. All right. So let's go here. So what's the what's the relationship between like Polkadot and Substrate and Parity and Web3 Foundation? So you hear a lot of terms when you're entering the ecosystem, right? So here I just want to show like you as a Substrate developer can do more than just participate in Polkadot ecosystem. And the reason I say it is Substrate's vision is much more broader than like Polkadot's vision, right? So in terms of like developers. So in the application level, like Polkadot like still has like a vision that has been in development for like 5 years. So to do this, all of this tooling had to be like created, right? So today we're going to focus on this and see like what you as a developer can take out of like developing on Substrate. So apart from easily like plugging in your blockchain project to Polkadot, you can also create Substrate-based standalone blockchains. So there are already successful projects out there who have just used the Substrate repository, created a blockchain, and they sort of like developed it further, and then they're like a standalone like blockchains. Yeah, so a lot of tooling like Ink. So Polkadot natively doesn't have any smart contracts, so it is by design. Polkadot relay chain should only facilitate these parachains perfectly. So it needs like very minimal load and functionality on the chain itself. So you don't want to execute smart contracts on Polkadot relay chain. So instead, you have parachains that sort of implement that functionality. But again, with Substrate, like you have the Ink framework to create like smart contracts. So this is like WASM based, and right now a lot of developers are using Solidity, the EVM for like smart contracts, but we believe that they'll be interested in like Ink framework as well. Talking about like Polkadot network, we already have like 7 million blocks in production. We have like a lot of validators. So today when I checked, we have 297 active validators and about like 700 validators who are waiting to get into the active set. So this information is available on Polkadot.js apps. So in the Explorer, you just have to switch the network to Polkadot, and then you're going to see everything that's happening on Polkadot. That's important. To show you like the level of decentralization in terms of like technology that we achieved. So we have a lot of nodes spread across like the world. Depending on where you're joining from, you can already see that there's a node there that's actually running like Polkadot, and facilitating the network with validation. And one more important thing. So for those of you who think Kusama is just a test net, it is not. It's a canary network. So there's a very big difference between both. So Kusama has its own ecosystem, its own economics, and its own vision, right? So when Kusama was created, the intention was to be like this, real blockchain with some economy, where developers could rapidly test and innovate. Like you as a developer in Substrate ecosystem, if you're trying to build on like Polkadot, so you would want to first test your applications on Kusama. Why? Because you never know, your program logic could be perfect, everything is working very well, but when you put it out in a space like a blockchain ecosystem, people are going to try to take advantage of it. Like the only way you get to know that there is a flaw at that level is by putting it on a relay chain like Kusama. So here is where you get an idea of how people are using your product, and make some adjustments as required, and then push it onto like Polkadot. So that's the idea of Kusama. And as you can see, most of the projects that are going to Polkadot have like a similar version of them on Kusama running. And always like Kusama has the features in advance. Yeah, something to be aware of. It's just more than like a testnet. So Polkadot has multiple testnets, West End, Rococo. So if you go to Polkadot Wiki, you have like an information on what these testnets do. And yeah, so Kusama has like 12 million blocks. Clearly, like Kusama started way before like Polkadot. So all the features that are going to be ported to Polkadot are first tested on Kusama. Okay, so for instance, in a month or two, you'll see new governance model. So the governance thing that you see, it's going to change as we see that right now there's a council. There's only like this referenda queue where one referenda can be active. So all of that is getting a big upgrade in next couple of months. So that will be tested on Kusama, and then it'll be ported to Polkadot. Okay, so as a developer, if you're interested in any of these fields like decentralized finance, NFTs, gaming, smart contracts, identity, privacy, bridge, Internet of Things, etc. One quick way that you can get, an edge, and just to get like started, you can pick any of the projects that are in the ecosystem that made their code open source, right? So check out these names and try to see like what they're doing, try to see like what they're not doing, and then sort of like contribute in your own project or as a palette to their projects. So there are plenty of opportunities. Everything is in the initial phase. As you'll see, like Polkadot just rolled out its full functionality 3 months back, and then there's more functionality coming up. Okay, so everything that you see here, is an opportunity if you are willing to get into any of these fields. And like I mentioned, some of these projects are a standalone chains, so they may not be planning to become parachains in Polkadot ecosystem. Okay, so the main features of Polkadot are these, connecting networks together, handling heavy traffic, industry-leading security. So this is through nominated proof of staking, building custom-built applications. So this is where Substrate sort of helps, governance and self-upgrades. Okay, so this is also the coolest feature in the blockchain ecosystem overall. So I'm gonna explain this in a bit. So the way you can start with your blockchain and then constantly, upgrade it further without having to fork. That's the special feature Substrate, gives you. So with the customization, like I mentioned, pick any of the use case or application that you want, and you should be able to. So just the way a DJ sort of customizes the music according to like the song. So depending on your use case, you can customize your blockchain, and Substrate sort of gives you that kind of flexibility. And yeah, so talking about like forkless upgrades, typically on chains like Ethereum, or take any chain, and then the moment they change something about the chain's logic, a lot of the nodes have to sort of agree on that. If they don't, the chain sort of forks. But the way Polkadot blockchain runtime upgrades are designed, it's a meta level like WASM WebAssembly based code upgrade. So basically the runtime, the block itself has the code, the state transition logic with which the blocks should be processed. So you modify that, and from the next block, it's going to use that state transition logic to create like a new block. So there is no scope for forking. This upgrade is managed through the governance, right? So everybody in the ecosystem has a say in whether the network has to be upgraded or not. So they're going to participate in the governance, and then through governance, like you sort of upgrade the state transition function or the parameters of the network, and the chain just goes seamlessly. Yeah, and regarding connecting the networks, so like I mentioned, this is a very evolving dynamic space. So this was yesterday, like April 8th, right? So Polkadot's XCM v2, meaning like cross-chain messaging, format version 2 was audited, and it's ready to be ported onto Polkadot. But again, be reminded, like there is a version 3 in works as well. So that will also be in queue for like validation. Okay, so this is really going to enhance how parachains like talk to each other. You would have heard of like plenty of hacks in the bridges these days. All of that happens because you have these chains that are having like different levels of security, or the bridges are having like very few validators who can be corrupted. So problems like these won't really affect like Polkadot and parachains. Why? Because like the whole security of the network is taken care of by Polkadot. And if you're attacking a parachain, then you're attacking Polkadot as a whole. So that's the shared security that we're talking about. And given like Polkadot's economics and the nominated proof of staking, making an attack like that is like very, very difficult. So you as a developer, if you build a parachain and then put it on Polkadot, and so you're sort of secured by Polkadot's overall, economic security. Yeah, so that's the biggest proposition. So you as a developer can freely like, focus on the application logic rather than thinking of securing the blockchain. Okay, so what do you have as a developer when you enter like Substrate, development? Is that initially, like everybody starts out with a Substrate node. So I'm going to show you shortly like what it is. So Substrate node is like a template that you can just clone from GitHub repository, run it on your computer, and then you see like it creating a blockchain which keeps like adding blocks every 6 seconds. You can configure that time too. You can make it for 2 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever. So it comes with a lot of customizability and like extensibility to begin with. And then you have Substrate frame, like I mentioned, all those palettes that are developed by the developers in the ecosystem. This list is growing like every month. So every month somebody comes up with a new palette and says, okay, so feel free to use it if you'd like to in your blockchain. So that is there. And then the Substrate core. So this is where like Parity and the related developers are spending their time. So they're not developing on Substrate, they're actually developing Substrate, right? So there's a difference. Like if you are developing on Substrate, you use different tools, different sort of like libraries. But if you're actually developing Substrate itself, then you're going to be focusing on that. And yeah, so this is the technical freedom that you get. Like you can fundamentally change the core primitives of Substrate itself if you're not convinced that is a good solution. Yeah, so frame palettes typically look like this. So if you need specific palettes in your runtime, like your blockchain core logic, you can just like plug them in. And so you have palettes for like finalization of blocks. You have palettes that handle like accounts, like multi-sigs. You have palettes that can let you like mint assets, like fungible and NFTs and like tokens. There are palettes for EVM and many more. Like if you want your chain to have like democracy, you have a palette to incorporate and sort of change the code accordingly. So the 3 core technologies that Substrate relies on is the libp2p. So this is not developed by us, like Parity or Web3 Foundation. So libp2p library is by the IPFS people. So if you're aware of like IPFS, then so the developers of IPFS were the ones who created this. So that is how like Substrate nodes sort of talk to each other. So it takes care of the networking layer. So Grandpa is like the consensus layer. So consensus is how like blocks get like finalized on the chain. So this was developed by Web3 Foundation like researchers right here in Zug, Switzerland. So this is like a gadget that you can just plug into like your blockchain, and then it sort of finalizes your blocks being added to your blockchain. And then fundamentally, like, there was a shift to like WASM with Substrate. So WebAssembly, it's the next revolutionary technology in the blockchain space. As you can see, if you heard of it, there's Substrate Connect, which are like light clients that can run on your browser. Okay, so these are light nodes that you can run on your own on your browser. You don't need to depend on anybody else to get like the blockchain data. So that is also powered by WebAssembly, and all the runtime logic is going to be executed on that. Yeah, I talked about like Substrate node template. You are free to like download it like right now and sort of test it out on your computer. So it comes with like a pseudo access meaning like you are the boss of the blockchain. Right off the bat, you can do whatever you want with it. And then usually when people create projects that become parachains, they sort of remove the pseudo access and give the community like more power. And even that is there's a tutorial sort of that explains how to sort of do it. Yeah, and then it comes with like a specific folder that is dedicated for palettes. You can add new palettes or you can create new palettes and sort of create your application. So in terms of like the naming of you can see if it starts with SP, we're talking about substrate primitives. Like these are like, how would I put it? So these are like the core functionalities of Substrate. And if you want to change something, you would go there. If you want to change like the core aspect. So client, so, client basically is the node, anything to do with like nodes and their execution. So Substrate client. So SC stands for Substrate client. So you have the transaction pool, executor, and CLI, and a lot of other libraries as well. Yeah, and then anything to do with Frame. So Frame is what is exposed to the developers, when they join the ecosystem. So here you have Frame system, Frame support, whatever. So everything that starts with Frame is going to take care of like those palettes that you develop right here, and then you make sure that gets executed well. Okay, so reiterating like what I mentioned earlier. So we have, as a developer, you have technical freedom. You're free to like change any aspect of this. The difficulty of doing it sort of, increases as we go this way. But yeah, so development is like you start with Substrate node and play around with Substrate frame. So how do you get started? So there are plenty of tutorials on Substrate docs. So this is the official documentation for Substrate right now. But I mentioned we have like plans to expand the education program. So there are plans to create like a textbook, like in a textbook format, giving you the entire context and like a bunch of examples to go with. But this is all we have for now. So feel free to like get started here. And then there are over 10 tutorials that will bring you up to speed with development on Substrate. And the playground.substrate.dev. Okay, so I'm quickly going to switch to that screen. And let's see where it is. All right, so I have it right here. So it looks like this. So if you ever want to share about Substrate to your friend who's like a really good developer and they just want to like play around with it without like installing it on their computer, so they could just open playground.substrate.dev and then create a node template. And this is an instance that is running on cloud. So this service is provided by Parity. We can also like scale this further, but for now it supports around like 20 concurrent connections. But yeah, so randomly if you want to like connect to it, you should be able to. And then so let's go to the workspace. Let me expand this. All right, so yeah, so there you have like the node, so the palettes, Okay, so you come, this comes with like a template palette, which has like the basic bare bones like code. So let me open that. So lib.rs file is where like your code goes. So basically, the tutorials are going to show you like how to add code here, and then sort of change the nodes like runtime. Okay. So I'll let you play around with it. As you can see, it's already creating like a blockchain. New blocks are being added, and so on and so forth. Let's get back to this one. And yeah, so a quick way to sort of get started and understand like what development on Substrate feels like, play in this like Substrate playground. And I want to highlight like the recent effort taken by Parity and Web3 Foundation to make Substrate more accessible to people, and the Substrate developers accessible to people is Substrate Stack Exchange. So I'm not sure how the accessibility of this is in like different regions, like especially in like Asia, but feel free to like open this link, and then you're gonna see that the list of questions is growing like every day. Okay, so it's only been like a couple of months, and then you have questions that sort of span across like different aspects of Substrate. I'm gonna show you shortly. Here is where you'll go to find answers, or if there is no answer there, you post a new question, right? So it's a good resource for developers to see like what other people are thinking, whether this has been an issue for someone else to begin with. And like I mentioned, so Substrate Stack Exchange already has almost all the developers that you would see who are committing to the GitHub repository. So we have Gav, we have Sean, we have Joe, and so on and so forth. So meaning like your question will be viewed and sort of answered if you're, if that has not already been answered. So there is a chance that your question is answered by the developers themselves who have actually written those palettes or those libraries. And so earlier we had like a Telegram channel or like an Element channel for providing like support for Substrate questions. So that cannot scale because so in the chat you can't search properly, you can't scroll up to that question. So it's very inconvenient. Whereas Substrate Stack Exchange is going to let you have tags to the questions, and then it's easy to discover the questions or search for the questions. Basically, this website is optimized for question and answers. So we hope that this resource sort of helps you as developers, achieving like your objectives. So also we understand like there is a education gap for Substrate. So for someone who's just starting with Substrate, we always get this question, like, where do I start, right? So we point people to Substrate docs, but again, like docs in themselves are, they're structured very well, but you don't get the motivation to, do everything on your own. So we are planning to create these massively open online courses, which are free for everyone. So they include like videos, tutorials, examples, and sort of like regular webinars, like Substrate Saturday today. So there we'll be talking about the core concepts, in a sequence. So the plan is to have these two courses like Polkadot, Blockchain, and Web3 released by the end of May, and Rust and Substrate by the end of this year. So for development of these, so we are trying to, so this is an effort by Web3 Foundation. So we are actually, collaborating with like Parity to get like firsthand knowledge on what Rust, fundamentals you should know to succeed in programming on Substrate. Okay, so these two courses will be interconnected. So the exercises that you're doing here can be applied in this as well. Okay, so even though Substrate is built with Rust, it has its own like character. A lot of the code is like macros, So macros have less to do with like Rust, right? So ultimately the code, compiles to Rust and then like machine code. But Substrate, to understand like how Substrate is structured, it makes sense to have like a detailed course or a textbook that sort of explains it. Yeah, but this is the plan. So stay tuned for like announcements from Parity and Web3 Foundation, and this is going to help like a broader adoption of Substrate and Polkadot. And with that, yeah, I think we're right on time. So I thank Helena and Serena for giving this opportunity today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Radha. That's very nice presentation. Yeah, regarding the courses, I still remember that we had a chat about the courses. And yeah, when they're ready, let us know. And we're looking forward to them. And maybe that we can share some of the classes with our communities. And I think they're eager to learn.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. So right now we're just focusing on like creating the content because everything changes so fast in Substrate and Polkadot ecosystem, right? So yeah, so once we have that, we're definitely going to be aggressive with giving sessions, educating more people, and bringing more people on board. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thank you again, Radha. Helena, I see you there. Yeah, how are you? Can you check your microphone? We cannot hear you. You're on mute. Nope. Let's see.
Is that better now?
There you go. There you go.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Sorry about that, guys. I was just kind of reconnecting my earpiece. All right, so let me share my screen and then guess we'll get started. My screen looks fine to you guys, right? Serena, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So I want to thank you very much, for joining us with this session. So my name is Helena. I'm a part of the Parity Asia team. I want to introduce myself and my team a little bit, and then also I want to thank our longtime trustworthy partner OneBlock very much. So a little bit about myself. I usually don't do sharing in front of a camera a lot, but today is just different because this is about Substrate Evangelist program, which I'm gonna come to the detail a little bit more later. This is a program we've been operate around for 4 months. So that's tirelessly 4 months of work with OneBlock. So I'm just very excited to kind of share details with you guys. But before that, I just want to kind of let you guys know that Parity has a nimble team of 6, including 1 member from Web3 Foundation, tirelessly working on growing and developing the Polkadot ecosystem in Asia Pacific. So speaking of the OneBlock team, I want to say that thank you very much. You guys have been awesome. You guys are an essential part of Polkadot ecosystem, the Substrate ecosystem, especially in the Asia Pacific market. And then you guys are also kind of working as a extended arm of the Parity APAC. So thank you very much, guys. All right, so I'm just gonna get started about today's sharing. So Dr. Dasari talked about the technologies, the features, right, of Polkadot and Substrate. But my view would be a little bit different. I'm going to share with you the overview picture of Substrate ecosystem, and then let you feel like, how rapidly the whole ecosystem is growing and how exciting it's going to be. And then later, I'm going to get into the details of Substrate Evangelist program, and then also the the Web3 bootcamp that just opened up for registration. All right, so let me just get into the first part, the overview of Substrate ecosystem. I often got a question from people outside of a Polkadot ecosystem, sometimes even surprisingly, in the like from experienced investors, like, hey, how do you guys define Polkadot ecosystem, right? What are they, or who are they? So there are kind of a relatively narrow view of the Polkadot ecosystem. People view them as the Parachain or Parity teams, or the candidates of the Parachain teams and the Parity teams. However, in my view, Polkadot ecosystem should have a lot broader kind of a concept, which is based on Substrate. Why? Let's think about that. The best proxy indicator to describe or to measure a ecosystem would it be always the number of active developers and the number of active projects. And in Polkadot ecosystem, clearly it is all based on Substrate. So I think it makes most sense that for us to use Substrate to describe or measure Polkadot ecosystem. So let's take a look of this chart, that you guys can clearly see that how rapidly the Substrate ecosystem is growing, right? Let's just take a deep look here. If you guys see the first red circle here, that is basically the end of the 2020. And then back then it was about around 180. And then after 1 year, exactly 12 months, that quickly gone to somewhere around 350. And now, as far as the Parity Web3 Foundation can track, the Substrate project has gone up over 400, and this number is only growing and growing into a much bigger number. So now you can see that, right? This whole Substrate ecosystem is developing very rapidly. And then we're just very excited to continue build a Substrate, and then hoping more people would be building on Substrate. All right, so let's look at the Substrate status or Substrate project status breakdown by building or live. So here's the numbers that we track, as of the end of 2021, we saw 68 projects has gone live, meaning they've already launched their product or launched their mainnet. And then there's still 320 are in the middle of development. And I believe this number is gonna only become bigger, right? So let's look at this one. Solution type. Clearly that you can see that we have all kinds of projects building on Substrate in various categories. The top 10 would be DeFi, NFT, wallets, staking related infrastructure, identity, smart contracts, decentralized file storage, right? Privacy, on-chain data analytics, social networks, all kinds of stuff, right? And the gaming, of course, Oracle, Bridge. Let's take a close look. So the first three categories are actually DeFi, NFT. And then it's actually not a surprise, right? If you guys see that almost in all the L1 ecosystems, application always take a bigger number just because it's relatively speaking easier to build. Sometimes you don't even need to do a lot of stuff, you just deploy your smart contract. Deploy the code on the through the either EVM or WASM smart contract, and then you essentially just go ahead and then run your application, right? But the other side, I want you guys take a close look. If some careful customers, or sorry, not customers, if the careful audience in the Zoom session here or in the YouTube channel, if you guys compare, this percentage, to the other L1 ecosystems, you will find that in Polkadot ecosystem or Substrate ecosystem, this is not very high. That is because Substrate has some Web3 infrastructural type of projects are taking pretty good percentage here. Although, I don't have them to write it up here. It's just because my pie chart doesn't allow me to write up those numbers. But here my point is that the reason is for Web3 infrastructure type of projects, there is absolute needs for them to develop and launch their own chain. And then often blockchain developers go through all kinds of technology and careful technology evaluation. They will find the Substrate is no doubt their best choice to develop and launch their own chain. So that is the reason that we see those application related percentage in the entire ecosystem pie is relatively smaller as compared to other L1 ecosystems. That is a good sign. Think about that, right? And then down the road, those big projects like Web3 infrastructure projects only going to be joining Polkadot ecosystem simply with the reason of using Substrate. So this is going to be the core strength of a Polkadot ecosystem down the road. And me personally, truly believe in this part. All right, so let's take a look at the geographic distribution of those projects by countries or by continents. Clearly that, our ecosystem is super decentralized and very global, widely spread. And then some big continents would be Asia, right? North America or Europe. And especially in Asia, you guys can see that we're actually taking pretty good number here. So Asia Pacific Polkadot ecosystem takes a big influence in the entire global pipeline. So I'm very proud of my team that are doing a wonderful job in the past few years in Asia Pacific market. And also we want to thank OneBlock, very much for contributing their effort to get this number here. All right. And then last chart, I want to share with you is the number of the active developer. So if you guys look at this white chart, this is actually the screenshot from one important report that published by Electric Capital. This is their 2021 developer report. And then that basically compares the top 5 ecosystems in terms of the number of the active developers. So there are Ethereum, Polkadot is very proudly ranked number 2 here, and Cosmos, Solana, and Bitcoin, right? So we actually, if we take a closer look into the number, Ethereum has somewhere around like between 3,800 to 4,000 active developers. And the Polkadot ecosystem has somewhere close to 1,400 active developers. And then a couple other major ecosystems like Solana, Cosmos are running a little bit behind. So only Polkadot and Ethereum are having the active developers beyond 1,000. And I believe over time, the whole dynamics among those ecosystems are only going to change, right? Why I'm so confident? Because actually, according to the internal data that Parity Web3 Foundation tracked, the number of the active developer, Substrate developer, is actually much bigger than the number that the Electric Capital captured here. But of course, we don't have to get into details of the difference of capturing or calculating the number of active developer. We are so the number that I want to show with you guys is in the this right side, the black chart. You see that clearly. We also internally, based on our internal number, the trend is very clear, right? So we're just having more and more developers on board with us. So again, yeah, the Substrate dev community is growing very rapidly. Okay, so then I want to kind of turn into my second part to share or talk about some programs, because the Polkadot ecosystem is clearly doing pretty good. But then I want to share some of the programs that are helping people to onboard Polkadot ecosystem. And then those programs has been kind of doing a wonderful job in terms of really growing and developing this ecosystem. I kind of categorize them in a few buckets. Maybe that's not 100% accurate, but it kind of like give you some ideas, right? So first of all, it's of course, the Web3 Foundation and Parity together are providing generous financial support to the Substrate building teams. And then the most two famous programs would be Web3 Foundation Grant Program, and then the proposal programs that are offered by Polkadot and the Kusama Treasuries. But for today's session, I'm not going to get into too much details about those two programs. Whoever interested in this program, you guys can scan the QR code here. The top QR code is for Web3 Foundation Grant, okay? And then the second major bucket that the Parity and the Web3 Foundation are offering is the help in technology and knowledge. So as you can see that, we have all kinds of a program, and then Dr. Dasari just shared his tech education program offered by Web3 Foundation, right? But from Parity side, we are continuously offering Substrate online course, which is operated and facilitated by OneBlock. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about this course, you guys can scan the QR code in the bottom one. And we also have a Substrate Builders program that's basically help to select the quality Substrate teams and help them to grow, help them to develop, and help them to thrive. All right, so the third bucket is the social and the community. We are a very kind of active ecosystems that provides all kinds of social opportunities. So the community member can join us and then communicate with us face to face. So first of all, of course, all kinds of a conference, right? And I believe our host Serena just mentioned Polkadot Decoded this year is going to cover 3 language areas and then at 4 locations. So China is going to have the Polkadot Decoded Shanghai, but of course, the exact details or logistic details and the location has not yet been 100% finalized. But essentially that I'm just gonna share with you guys that we are going to have this Polkadot Decoded conference in person. This conference coming to China, and then you guys have a opportunity to communicate with us in person. So then I want to spend a little bit more time to talk about the 2 programs. Those are the Substrate Evangelist program and then Web 3.0 Bootcamp. As I mentioned, that those are the 2 programs that we recently opened. So I really want to just spend a little bit more time with you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at Substrate Evangelist program. What is this a program for, right? What is the SEP for? From my view, there's 2 major purposes that I wanted this program to serve. One is we like to promote Substrate as a technology, right? We want more and more people to understand the Substrate, learn Substrate, adopt Substrate, and use Substrate to build something. So this is our general goal. And the second thing would be we hope to utilize this program to establish and grow a very active developer community. So within that 2 goals, right, I want to talk about a little bit of the selection criteria. We of course welcome everybody to join us, but our general criteria would be super general here. First of all, I want you guys having a loving heart and open mind. A loving heart of Polkadot and a Substrate ecosystem, of course, and this community. And then I want you guys to have an open mind to the upcoming Web 3.0 and the upcoming trend that could potentially impact many industries and fields deeply. So this is the first things, all right? You need to love Polkadot, love Substrate, and then have an open mind. And the second thing is that I want you guys to have a good balance of the passion and a long-time responsibility. Of course, I want you guys to be passionate about Substrate, about this program. And then also I want you guys, willing to commit to do something for Substrate and really deliver what you want to do. And thirdly would be experience and technical knowledge, of course, because the Substrate is quite technical. But this is not the most important thing. Again, people can gain experience, can learn knowledge, but still your true passion and a sense of responsibility would be very, very important to this program, okay? And then what about onboarding process, right? How could you participate in this program? The process is very easy. So we have a open application that calling for registrations anytime. So you guys see that there's a QR code here, right? If you want to be a part of this program for like a second cohort or the cohort after, you could just scan this QR code and fill out our application form. And then after that, we review your form. We're gonna find a time to talk with you. So the second part will be a face-to-face session. Do not think this as an interview process, all right? We really wanted this being a mutual opportunity for us to know you and for you to know us. So we want you guys to utilize this session to talk about yourself and then tell us who you are, what you want to do, and why you want to join this program, right? All sorts of things. And ask us awesome questions. We would deeply appreciate that. All right, so that is kind of a little bit about, the onboarding process. So those information are more relevant for people not yet joined the first cohort of our SEP program, right? But the next part would be more like relevant to the friends that we invited in this Zoom session with us tonight. So those about, after you got accepted by this program, what are you gonna do, right? So first of all, I want you guys to know that I'm sure, some of you already probably kind of get all the details of this task tracks, right? Those are basically divided in 4 groups. There are education track, content track, event track, and a social track. Let me just expand them a little bit. Education, of course, Substrate's the whole program is about educating, promoting Substrate, right? So education is the core. Substrate course is the core. So we're hiring the Substrate Evangelist with decent Substrate experience or knowledge to participating in this education track. And then what you're gonna do probably would be being a TA, right, for this online course, and then score the homework, doing office hour, doing the Q&A with the students, right? Or even just, share your experience about how you learn Substrate, right? How you're utilizing Substrate, all kinds of stories about you and the Substrate would be very welcome in this session. And then the second track is content. We're looking for people that can generate or create or curate or circulate Substrate related contents. You could do translation, the Substrate documents into your local language. You could write on your own stories or your own experience of Substrate. Of course, we would prefer you deliver some technical content, right? So the third track would be event. Of course, we know some of you guys has a great resource that you can potentially run some events online or offline to talk about Substrate, right? To promote Substrate. So this is the event track. The last one is the social track. We want you guys to build your own social channels, talk about Substrate, promote it, and then essentially you guys can bring some Substrate new fans into our Discord channel. So we can kind of aggregate all the Substrate traffic there and essentially become a bigger developer community. All right, so that is 4 tracks. If you guys want to know more detailed information about the tracks and the tasks in all the tracks, you guys can scan the this QR code in the bottom here. It has more information about the SEP program guideline. All right. And then for the people got selected in this cohort, you guys might be wondering, all right, so what do you guys do, right, for next step? We want you guys to claim your task in your track, and then find your team leader in the Discord. So that's why I list out here the official Discord channel of this program. You can scan it, or you can also find the link in the description section in YouTube. All right, and then you find your leader, and then you can work with your leader, and then think about your time availability, right, and specify your deliverables and a delivery time ETA. And then from time to time, we want you to report your delivery status and provide your proof of work in the spreadsheet that provided to you guys in the Discord channel. And then by the end of this program, which is the end of June, right, we're gonna review your work, and then hopefully that we can give you a little kind of appreciation token for your work. Okay, so this is a little bit about Substrate Evangelist program. Again, I posted this official Discord channel, the program guideline, right, and application form here, so you can go ahead study those information. And then lastly but not leastly, I want to talk a little bit more about the Web3 Bootcamp. It's the 3rd year that we're running this bootcamp, and now it's back in open for registration. So this is a 6-month bootcamp for teams building on Substrate. I have the QR code listed here that you guys can scan it, and then it'll take you to the official website. It has all kinds of information. But here, of course, I also want to share a little bit more, especially in the goal and the selection criteria. So similarly, like the SEP program, so this program is, of course, we want to promote the Substrate and then influence or help some quality Substrate team to kind of grow stronger, and then we hope can turn them into real business. And then from those projects, hopefully we can find some good Polkadot, Parity or Parity candidates, of course. And also we want to build a pretty good marketing strategy or PR strategy for those teams to cover China market or an Asia market. So those are kind of like a general goals. I want to talk a little bit more about the selection criteria and as a procedure here. So there's a 6 kind of a general selection criteria. Let me go through them one by one. The first one is, of course, it needs to be Substrate based because at the end, it is sponsored by Parity and Web3 Foundation and co-hosted with Wanshan Blockchain and New Base. So the general goal is to promote Substrate and a Polkadot ecosystem. So we hope our candidate teams are basically just building on Substrate. Okay, so this is number 1. Number 2 is innovation and uniqueness. Of course, we're looking for innovative teams. They have their unique ideas or bring in unique values to a Polkadot ecosystem. And number 3 is a representative and it's basically talks about we want you to have your own idea and being able to lead in your own vertical. Because it's often that we find that if something is hot at a certain time, you will find lots of projects with a similar idea coming out, right? But we want you somehow find your way to lead in this vertical and then being kind of like, top game players, all right? And then fifth criteria are more about the team itself, right? We want you guys to have a strong execution, and we want you to have, mature technology, or at least, the technical design, and then products or prototypes. Lastly, would it be business model? We think that it makes sense, to have some projects that are having clear thoughts of their business model. And then that has a potential to turn your project into a real business. And then this is something that we're looking into. And then a little bit different as compared to previous cohort. This cohort, we're going to have some, we're going to have a new track open up, which is for application. So if you're building some application, let me know. We welcome you to join us for this program, okay? So the whole procedure would go through 3 rounds of interview or like selections. The first round would be, we're going to review a project based on the information you submitted in the application form. And then if you're selected into second round, we're gonna conduct a phone interview with you to understand what you're doing, and then understanding you and your team member, right? And then if you are doing good in this interview process, then luckily that you might get into the final list. So the application deadline for this program this year is April 26th. So whoever in this live session today with me, if you're interested in building something serious and having a more broader influence over China market and the Asia market, this is a good opportunity for you to join us. So scan this QR code, and then you're gonna have more information about this this program. Okay, so this is a kind of a little bit more here. I just want to mention one more thing, that Parity Asia Pacific team is hiring. We are hoping to grow our team, so we're looking for some special talents in operation and marketing. So if you guys are interested in joining Parity and then joining Asia Pacific team, let me know. Then you can contact me at my email, which is helena.wen@parity.io, or you can just ping me in the Twitter, which is at Helena J. Wen. All right, so that's all from my side today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Serena.
Thank you, Helena. Thank you, Helena. Thank you for sharing. You had some very impressive and promising numbers there, and thank you for sharing, for getting our community updated on the status of Polkadot, and for our ambassadors. And I think from Helena's sharing, you get a clear picture of the structure of the program and the tasks that you should take on. And we're very looking forward for the next 3 months of collaboration with you. And to our friends who are substrate lovers and Polkadot lovers, Helena, I feel like you are the ambassador of Polkadot and Substrate. So feel free to apply either the Substrate course or the Evangelist program or the Web3 Bootcamp. Which one you feel like to apply them. Yeah, well, we're very welcome to everybody who can make a contribution and join the ecosystem. All right. I think we're going into the next step of a Q&A session. I thought since all of our evangelists are online, most of them, maybe we can have the group leaders meet their team members. Should we have the group leads say hi to everyone? Maybe we can start with the event team. Let's see.
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, can I just go by the order that I have here? The event team.
Yeah, my name is Dennis. I'm the leader of the event group. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Hi, Dennis.
All right, so, okay, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for Helena, Serena, and Radha to provide some new information about Substrate and ecosystem in general. And right now we need some time to review and digest everything. I think our group will make efforts to organize and host different events, such as workshops, hackathons, and meetups, etc. And I think we need to make events for different communities in different languages, like Russian, English, Spanish, and others. So in the nearest future, we'll try to spread a word about OneBlock and Substrate, as well as build a strong community. That's what I wanted to say.
All right, that's brilliant. Thank you, Dennis. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
All right, and we actually have 3 event leads. The second one would be Roy Sun. Roy, are you online?
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me, Serena?
Yep. Can you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Sure. Yeah. Kia ora, everyone. So I'm Roy from New Zealand. So sorry, I'm just outside right now at a Japanese restaurant. So it was great to attend this event. New Zealand is kind of in a position where a lot of people can come out and attend meetups in person. So we are really lucky. Being part of the Substrate Evangelist program, it's I really look forward to able to help with organizing event, not just in-person event, but also online event across the world. And I look forward to meet the rest of 51 evangelists throughout this next 3 months. And work with everyone to spread the word, spread Substrate, the technology, and the ecosystem. Thank you very much, Serena. See you guys.
All right. Thank you, Roy. Yeah, we look forward to work with you. How was the food, by the way?
The food is really nice, by the way. I'll show you some photos later on. Yeah, thank you.
All right. I think someone's not muting the. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, there you go. All right, and the third event lead is Wang Ao. Wang Ao, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, hello, Serena.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariel Wang. I'm from China, in Xi'an, and it's my honor to be the Substrate group leader of creation and event. I'm very glad to meet you here in our Substrate Evangelist program kickoff meeting. Hope more developers and enthusiasm join us. That's what I want to say. Thanks all. Thanks, Serena.
Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you. All right. We'll move on to the community group. Can we have Jerry? Jerry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Serena.
Yeah,
Okay,
hi.
Here. My name is Eduardo Babike, but I guess you'd go with Jerry because it starts more English. So I'm from Nigeria. it's been an awesome moment with Substrate, frankly. It's just less than a month, and I'm finding a new home. Frankly, I've not taken this in-depth knowledge into the Polkadot and the Substrate technology as it functions. Much credit to Dr. Radha and Helena for putting us through. And I'm looking forward to spreading the news and helping promote, advertise the Substrate project, because frankly speaking, I'm happy I'm coming in at this point, because it's really, really young, coming in from the capacity of community. I think we have much work to do. We need to grow the community. First is providing a solution, and second is getting the solution across to those who need the solution. And this is where I and my team of community will come in. We're hoping to have the best. We're hoping to announce the Substrate project to the world, bringing the expertise we have from other jobs we've done prior to now. I think it's going to be a whole lot of tasks, but it's not something new. We're used to it, and we promise to deliver our best. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Yeah, we're very excited too, and looking forward for your work and spreading the word for us globally.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to the next community lead, Cai Songjian. Are you on?
Hello, Serena.
Hi.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Cai Songjian, the leader of the community management team in China. In the next few months, I hope that we can contribute to the Substrate and the Polkadot community together to help the community better development. I will be mainly responsible for the construction of the Substrate community, answering some questions, management, and maintenance. So I will learn and promote the weekly task arrangement and the progress of the team members. Okay, let's work for it together. That's all that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Songjian. Yeah, we need different people from different geographic locations around the world to speak different languages to help us to build the community together, because we're literally having people coming in from all over the world. Yeah, thank you very much. Next, I think going into the creation group, we have 4 group leads here. Let's have Guo Bing start. Guo Bing.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Guo Bing, one of the creation group leaders. In the next 3 months, if you have any help or good suggestions, you can find me in the Discord creation group channel. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Guo Bing is, I would say, is a old member of our community, and he actually is very knowledgeable on Substrate. So if you have any technical questions, feel free to ask him. Yeah. Next, we're going to Peng Yalun. Peng Yalun, can you speak?
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron, but if you speak Chinese, you may call me Peng Yalong. I'm a big fan of Rust language and Substrate framework, and many thanks to OneBlock community, I have learned great courses of Substrate and others like Subquery, Moonbeam courses since last year. And of course, I have met so many great people here, and especially it's a great honor to be one of the evangelists, and glad to be one of the creation team. And we're looking forward to work with you guys to promoting Substrate and make and to make as much contributions as we can for Substrate and Polkadot ecosystem. Nice to meet you all you guys, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you too, Yalun. Yeah, thank you being so active in our community and doing all the supports. Yeah, because I can see what you're doing. Yeah, thank you. Next, okay, next is Alex. Alex, are you there?
Yes, yes. Hello. My name is
Hi,
Alexei.
I remember you.
Yes. Hello, my name is Alexei. I'm from Ukraine, but you can call me Alex, so it will be easier for you, I think. So it's a great opportunity to be here with so great people that know a little bit more than me about Substrate and can tell me, and I can take this knowledge and bring it to my Ukrainian community and spread this awareness about Substrate, Polkadot, and Rust to our local community that will be grow as fast as possible. So I will apply all my skills in content creation to make this awareness more and more big. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, and I look forward to work with you for the next 3 months. Thank you. All right, and yeah, so we only have 3 groups of leads here because the education group leaders are from OneBlock and Parity, so we're not going to introduce us again. So thank you for all the group leads. Self-introductions. So going to the next, we'll have our Q&A session. So for our evangelists, if you have questions right now, feel free to turn on your mic and go ahead and ask questions. Let's see.
Okay, good morning. Good morning from here. I don't know the time over there. My name is Yubong Ituk from Nigeria.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, I want to appreciate everyone. I will appreciate Serena, Helena, Dr. Rahat, and everyone that I've spoken so far. Seriously, I've had a good time, and my knowledge of the substrate, OneBlock, Polkadot, everything is just being enlarged, like expanded. So I'm happy to hear everything. So I don't think I have a question as of now, but I know along the line where we grow, some questions will come forward. We shall reach out to the necessary persons. So I want to make a clarification. Sorry, in that form we were given, I've actually felt like 3 times because I wasn't clear on maybe one, the dot address we were to submit, and secondly the sheet. So that made me submit about 3 times. So I just hope that will not bring an issue somewhere. But okay, let me start with the dot address. First of all, I used the one from my MetaMask before I was instructed to use that of Polkadot extension. So I made the change. Then when I got a mail yesterday for this meeting, the tutorial there shows that we are to submit a Google Sheet. Meanwhile, I've been submitting a Google Doc link. So I actually need to make that change. So I just hope that will be checked. So my last submission is corrected. So that's just it. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you submit it, we'll take care of that, and we'll reply you either in Discord or email. If you don't see our reply back, please find us. You can find us anywhere through email and Discord. Are you in Discord already?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. Okay. So you know who to find, correct?
Yes.
All right. Alrighty. So do we have another question? So I see there's a question saying, I would like to become a Substrate block developer. What is the recommended path? So first of all, there's a lot of online material that you can search for on the Polkadot website. And if you do speak Chinese, and we do provide Substrate Chinese courses. Other than that, I suggest that and we also have another, as Radha mentioned, we'll have the other courses coming at the end of the year, maybe or earlier, and maybe you can pay attention to our news and the updates and follow on that. Okay, Helena, do you have input on that?
Well, my only input would be start following the Twitter account of Dr. Dasari. I'm sure he's going to release his new status of the educational materials, right?
Right. Yeah, we can't wait for those.
Okay, please, can I come again? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this question is coming from the content creation here and video precisely. We have seen the video should be a minimum of 10 minutes, so that's not bad, but I don't know, on my own side, from what is happening around, I've actually found out that so many people are not interested in long videos. So I don't know if we can go with a minimum of some of them, like 1 minute precise, like 1 minute with full details is okay, and all of it. So I don't know about that, but if 10 minutes is okay, fine. But 10 minutes can be okay with tutorial videos. Yes, if that is tutorial, 10 minutes is very okay. But if 10 minutes is the standard, fine. All right.
Okay, the quality of the video is not determined by the length of it. So I suggest that you talk to your group lead. And which group are you in? You're in community?
Content and community.
Okay, so you have like 6 group lead that you can talk to. So maybe if you can find one of us on Discord or email us, and we'll reply, we'll discuss through email or Discord. How's that?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, do we have other questions? The Telegram channel, our Telegram address, we'll put it underneath the YouTube video, and if let me see, I can post it right here. Here's our Telegram address. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. If you have questions, you can just open your mic and start speaking.
Hello, everybody. My name is Israel. I'm from Nigeria. I have a question actually, and it's regards to the creation group itself. We have a document we submitted stating that we have to submit our jobs first, like our links first before we post them for reviews before we actually post them. How do we go about that? Because we don't know how quick our moderators are going to let us know when to actually post the jobs, the contents we actually put out. So how do we work around that?
Okay, do you have a contact with your group lead yet or no?
Not yet, though. I'm planning on messaging him after this live.
Okay, so yeah.
I can answer this question.
Okay,
Actually, we have changed a little bit about our rules for review, and now actually we are going to have a daily communication in this Discord with your leader about your work. But you can submit your work in your Twitter and other places without the review. And after you have done that, you should put your work on the contribution sheet that you created, and your leader will score your work and leave a comment on your work. Yeah, this is the process for the present.
Thank you very much. I think this is actually more better compared to the first one. So this is better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Problem solved. Right. I see. There's a question about how can we answer the questions in the community because most chats are in Chinese. Maybe because we also have Chinese evangelists. If you can't answer the questions, maybe you can leave to them, or there's translation tools, I suggest. Yeah. Okay, if there's no further questions, let me see.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube, and one of our evangelists said an article with the length of 10 words to with 1,000 to 3,000 words is too much for them. But actually, I think 1,000 word is the bottom line because it is a Medium article. It's not a tweet. Yeah, so it should have the limit. But for our YouTube video, I think it depends on yourself to decide the length of the video. Yeah. 10 minutes is just the average one. So the quality is the most important thing. But for a Medium article, I think 1,000 word is the limit, is the bottom line. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Hannah. There's another question. Do you accept applications from all over the world or only open to China, Asia region? No, we do accept from all over the world, yes. So, and then the application form is in English, so everybody should be able to apply. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's Hadi Mohammadi. What should I do to follow the steps of the Evangelist program? So all the announcements are in Discord. Please go check the Discord announcement. And you will have the links to follow the steps of it. Yeah. Okay. I don't see further questions. And then shall we move to the next step? And I want to touch on the Polkadot Decode. So this year, the third annual Polkadot Decode is happening on June 29th and 30th. It is featuring a hybrid event with both online and offline access, which is happening simultaneously in Berlin, Mexico City, New York, and Shanghai. And Helena has touched on it a little bit earlier. People can access the conference through live stream from all around the world. To continue this spirit of decentralization at Polkadot Decode, the community will help curate the program by voting on submitted presentation proposals. Now, as the largest substrate developer community in China and the exclusive operating partner for Parity, OneBlock is also prepared to present on Decode. So as a part of our community, now I want to take the chance to urge you to vote for our presentation on Decoded. OneBlock's founder, Yaxun, is going to talk about how to build a Polkadot developer community from 0 to 1. Okay, now I just want to briefly show you how to cast your vote on the Decoded website. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay, so once you land on Decoded Polkadot, oh, sorry, let's go back. All right, so you should first land on Decoded Polkadot network/vote. And once you're here, let's play this. You should scroll down. So you have different tabs, that's different categories of talks. At the Polkadot vision, if you scroll all the way down, and there's to build Polkadot developer community from 0 to 1. So that's us, OneBlock Yaxun, okay? And then you just take that and then click vote now and submit. And that's how you cast a vote. For each category, you can vote for 3 presentations. So yeah, feel free to select your presentations and please vote for us. Alrighty. So the voting is till April 14th. So you still have a few days, and we hope to see you at Decoded in June. And I think that's all I have for today. And thank you, and thank you, Radha and Helena, again for the wonderful presentations. And we look forward to the next episode of Substrate Saturday. I'll see you next time. And you might leave the conference. Thank you, Helena.
Guys. Thank you for having me with you guys.
Thank you, all the evangelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.